£52 million road through the Amazon jungle is being built using British climate aid. Your money, in other words. This is just one of the many schemes which is funded by the International Climate Finance Initiative, or ICF. An investigation by The Telegraph, a newspaper, has revealed that a number of ICF projects have been accused of corruption and waste. There's a surprise. All of this comes as the COP30 climate summit is just days away, and Keir Starmer will be jetting into it, obviously. So is this climate aid a waste?
I wish more ladies knew that they can go from XL to M with Tai Chi.
Here. To debate this, we're joined by political commentator and podcast of Our Money, with as the COP30 climate summit is just days away, and Keir Starmer will be jetting into it, obviously. So is this climate aid a waste of our money? With the cost of living crisis, isn't there more important things to spend it on here? To debate this, we're joined by political commentator and podcaster Sunil Sharma and former Labour aide Stella Santakido. Thank you both very much for joining me. Always good to see both of you. I mean, this is a ridiculous story. £52 million on a road in the Amazon that doesn't even go anywhere. Sunil, it's a waste of our money, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And I think it's an example of a lot of where our foreign aid goes. We know for a fact that a lot of these projects don't necessarily actually complete. We don't know where exactly all the money goes. We know for a fact that some, due to the corrupt nature of some of these countries, they don't even go to the people that are there to aid. I think we should look more towards what other countries do when it comes to foreign aid. The examples of China, for example, who don't have foreign aid, they call it development cooperation, where they go to these countries, they're more strategic, a lot more infrastructure projects, a lot more loan-based projects, and from that they actually gain strategic diplomacy, they get access to natural resources. It's a lot more of a cooperative approach. In the UK, infrastructure is failing. People's lives are getting worse on a day-to-day basis. Yet we are sending taxpayers' money, British taxpayer money, to projects and places that we have no idea what the impact actually is. It's a crazy, crazy scenario, and I think it's really deeply, deeply worrying. And I would love there to be a much bigger investigation in terms of where every single penny of foreign aid goes. We know for a fact some of the countries it goes to, the impact it has isn't what it should be. More than 250 million goes to Ukraine. That's even before we talk about the 3 billion that it costs for us to house and many of these refugees from Ukraine. That alone, considering the state of the UK economy, is absolutely crazy. And I think there needs to be a much wider discussion on foreign aid and its impact.
OK, Stella, what do you make of this?
So which one is it? Do we want to do what China does, which is precisely as you said, they are spending loads of money to make sure that they have access in all of these developing countries while we are vacating the space. China is spending over $1 trillion a year on these projects. There are over 70 countries who are in debt to China, and this has a massive impact on their position in terms of their global influence. It means that all of these countries are a lot more motivated to vote with China in the United Nations, in the Security Council.
Those are loans.
More generally,
they're not aid. They're not grants, they're loans. These are grants. We're giving grants. We're actually giving them free money, untied aid. China is doing loans, and China has a reciprocal energy. When we're doing these aid deals, there is no goods or services are being purchased from the UK. It's completely different with China's case. We are giving aid to countries that we have no idea about what we're doing. We're not gaining any diplomacy in these countries. We're not stabilizing any of these economies.
It's not completely different. We are just better at PR. The UK is just
Sorry,
better
one at a
at
time.
public relations.
Stella, you have your say now.
It is not completely different. The UK is just better at public relations, and this is the way that we framed it to begin with, because the UK, as a liberal country, we had human rights, we had all of these things, and we wanted to make sure that all of these things, they were things that we were advocating for. So what you are describing there, these countries are not going to pay back China. China is never going to pay, is not going to see a single pound back from the money that they are investing in these countries, from all of these roads that they're building and all of these ports and all of these places. Like, yeah, sure, there are some places where it is a loan, but there are a lot of other places where, believe me, they do not expect to get that money back. So in terms of the effect and in terms of what is happening, it is exactly the same thing. The point is, we no longer have that amount of money, but foreign aid to begin with, it was always about global stability. It was always about halting the refugee crisis that we have seen, how much more expensive refugee crisis has been for Europe, rather than if from the beginning we have invested as much as was needed to make sure that these situations do not escalate.
Sunil?
I think that's totally untrue. Escalate. So Syria, we give more than 100 million pounds to Syria. What's that doing? Syria is unstable. Not doing. We give more than 100 million pounds to Afghanistan. That's not stable. We give 80 million to Pakistan. We give money to Bangladesh. Lots of these countries are not stable. We're not helping in any of those circumstances. We give foreign aid for the simple basis of virtue signaling. Look at us, we're doing something good. Charity starts at home. The UK economy is crashing. The UK average person in their life is getting considerably worse. And you can't compare it to China because China is a bigger economy, but China have a much more strategic way of doing it. We don't. We do not have the same manpower as China. China has a population of more than 1 billion. We're barely 70 million. It's not helped the refugee crisis. If anything, it's got worse. You look at, we're spent more than £3 billion on Ukraine. What has that achieved for UK? Nothing. We are spending absurd amounts of money. We're being foreign aid or in foreign relations that are having a negative impact on the UK. And I think with the state of the UK economy right now, what UK people are going through, I think under no circumstances should we be given this money. Every single penny should be scrutinized. You know, we're constantly increasing taxes on every single person in the UK, but we're happy to give foreign aid when we have no reality.
Let's bring Stella back in. Stella, what about the fact that charity should begin at home? People are really suffering in this country.
I'm not going to say that all of this money is being spent in the best way. And we know very well that foreign aid is money that it's very difficult to do foreign aid correctly. It is hard. You don't just go into another country and you clean up the mess. That is not how it works. However, the UK and the US, they were global powers for a reason. And there were things that they understood. There used to be things that global leaders, American and British global leaders, used to understand about what it means to be a global superpower. And the reason why we are no longer that is because we have completely abdicated responsibility and have forgotten how to do big things. So yes, while I agree with you, there is a lot of corruption in all of these schemes. And I am not at all in favor of having very woolly-mouthed random projects here and there, small projects here and there. But there are things that you can do, and there are things that only big government projects can do. And I do think that some of them really are worth it. And, you know, like I was reading through the Telegraph investigation about this project, and absolutely, they have uncovered some corruption, which we know exists. But then was saying things like, oh, why are we handing out condoms in Congo? And how is that going to avert climate catastrophe? Well, isn't one of the problems that we have with the refugee crisis that there are far too many young people in some of these countries without economic opportunity? So surely that should be the least of our problems. Surely that should be the least controversial aspect of it.
OK, so Neil, condoms in the Congo are a worthwhile investment for British taxpayers?
No, absolutely not. You want to solve the refugee crisis in terms of the UK, shut the borders. I mean, it's quite straightforward. We're not a global power, and hopefully one day that can happen again. But right now, UK is not a global power. And I agree, it needs to do more big deals. It needs to be big projects, but that's not on the basis of foreign aid. That's from business to business. That's in lowering taxes, creating an economy where you actually encourage businesses to stay in the UK, where it's British entrepreneurs, in making a much better economy and making their trade easier so that we can grow the British economy. It's not through foreign aid. It's not through governments going to Congo and helping.
Sorry, Sunil. Sunil and Stella, I have to finish that one there. I'm going to finish it on the phrase growing the British economy, because I think we'd all agree that would be a very good thing. Sunil Sharma and Stella Santakida, thank you both very much for joining me on that one. And of course,